How can images lead us to wisdom?
What image has affected or influenced your spiritual life the most? These and other questions will continue to ponder on our journeys seeking wisdom. My name is Lauren Welch.
And I'm John Shematek, and we're listening for clues. This is our sixth episode in our series on wisdom. And the first time we talked about how wisdom came to us as a gift, and then have been looking at some various ways that are, in a way, pathways or gateways to wisdom, starting first with intellect, then will, then emotions, then our senses, and today we're looking at images. And since we're focused on images rather than words today, we're not going to do our usual practice of reading from Scripture, but we're going to look at three different images that illustrate stories from the Bible that you may be familiar with. And so, Lauren, I'm going to ask you to just take us through the first one, or at least kick us off with the first one.
This is an image of the Good Shepherd who always looks after his sheep and has and knows them by name. So compassion and caring, knowing that there is someone there for you, uh, is what comes to mind when I see this. When I see this image, or I think about the Good Shepherd, knowing that I can't go anywhere and be lost and not be found.
Mm, Yeah, there's so much in this. This is an icon, so it's pretty well stylized, but I get that same sense. There's just an amazing sense of peace, comfort, safety. And I just love the little lamb in Jesus' arms, and they're looking right at each other. So you're just saying
Right.
they do know each other. They're making eye contact, and I also love the sheep who's at Jesus' feet. That on his right foot he's fast asleep. Just kind of, if you've ever had a dog, which I know you do, Lauren, at least a grand dog, they love to come and kind of cuddle up to you and put their heads on your feet or in your lap or what have you. And it's just I just love the way that the this is sort of really giving an image of a flock, all the little animals that are kind of there together, and so it's a great way to illustrate the 23rd Psalm, the journey that they've been on.
Yes, and not and the journey that they've been on and will be on. I think. I mean, the Good Shepherd, the face of the Good Shepherd, just is oozing, I guess, with compassion and love and care. It so that peacefulness, no matter what is going on. If you reflected on this icon for very long, I think it would bring a lot of peace no matter what was going on in your life.
Yeah, I agree, and I think this is a great illustration of how valuable it can be to spend time with images and to just kind of let yourself be with them and see what kind of emotions, and feelings, with thoughts, however you tend to relate to the world, what emerges for you when you're looking at this picture. And I bet everybody has their own unique sense. Well, let's move on to the next image, and this one is another uh, very interesting. There's a lot of darkness to it, but on the one hand, on the other hand, there's so much happening. this is
Yeah.
really this is really dynamic. I mean, there's something, just so much going on, and I love. This is, of course, the story of Jesus healing the paralytic, and he had friends and needed friends. There were so many people that they couldn't. If you remember the story, and I think many of us do, they couldn't get this man into the house for Jesus to heal. There were so many people outside crowding and trying to come in to receive Jesus' blessing and healing. And so they actually cut the roof open and lowered him down. So this is the kind of one of the critical moment here that this artist has captured of the paralytic being lowered down, and it looks so precarious to me. I just kind of think, oh my goodness.
And trust. I mean, this man who wants to be healed is trusting these people to catch him when he's coming through that and being lifted down. His arms are outstretched as if he was not quite sure what's going to happen, but he's trusting these men to catch him and to uh, so that Jesus can heal him. There's so many people. I guess maybe he wouldn't be hurt if he did fall. I don't know, but just that sense of free falling is very dynamic in this picture.
Mm-hmm. I think you can read a lot into this. I just love, uh, his hands outstretched. Maybe he's trying to keep his balance or worrying about what's happening. But also, I'm loving Jesus' hands outstretched to kind of welcome him and say, yes, you're going to be fine. Come to me. Everything's going to be okay.
Right,
In a way you can't even imagine how it's going to be okay.
right, right. Uh, and everyone else is just kind of wondering what's going on.
Yeah, I don't think anyone expected the roof to open and this guy to come down through the roof.
Can
So
you
this is,
imagine?
but some have stood to receive him.
Mhm.
Uh, it looks clear that pallet that they're lowering him on isn't going to be quite long enough to reach the floor. So they're going to have to really hold him as he comes down. So it's a moment of, to me, of a amazing tension, not in a bad kind of a way, but I mean tension in what's going to happen next. Is everything going to be okay? And I just I love this story, and I love this version of looking at it. Well, let's move to our third and final image.
And this is the prodigal son. I think everyone um, probably remembers this story in scripture where the younger son goes his way and uses up all of his money and then comes back to the father. And the father welcomes him. And in this picture, the the child looks emaciated.
Mm,
The child or the young man looks emaciated. He looks uh, as he was. He hadn't been eating for a while. He did run out of money and didn't want to go back begging to his father, but then he was smart enough to go back and beg forgiveness. And his father isn't worried about what transpired. He's just grateful that he came back and is welcoming him with open arms immediately. The I love the colors. I love the
mm.
boldness of this image. Of course, we also have the older son over there questioning what the heck is going on.
Yeah.
This desolate son of yours. And the father doesn't seem to be paying attention. His eyes are right at this moment with in this painting is just on the son who has returned.
Yeah, and it's I wonder if someone, this, as you said, this is a pretty well known um, story from Scripture, and it's one that is known in many cultures, and certainly among uh, people who don't really aren't really Christians. But this is a pretty well known story. I wonder what someone would make of it if they had no knowledge of the story of the prodigal son. Certainly, there's again a tremendous, the a father figure embracing or starting to embrace his son, the son coming with open hands, with nothing, in rags and tattered. This is what amazes me about this. This is another icon, actually. And what's amazing about icons is they can tell an entire story in one picture. I mean, as you pointed out, Lauren, there's the brother there looking disapproving, I guess would put it mildly. The father and son are having their reunion. There's on the off to the side, someone's killing the fatted calf. Another servant is bringing the best cloak out to him. I mean, it really tells the whole story. And he's probably bringing sandals too, because they're all wearing sandals except for this poor guy who, you know, probably lost them along the way. But anyway, it's a rich story, and it's one, again, as you said earlier, you could spend some time with this icon and reflect on what's going on. And as we often do when we hear a sermon on this topic, begin to wonder, which one am I most like? That's what comes to me. Where am I in this image? And I think that is probably true for all the images we've seen. Even going back to the last session with the Pentecost image. Where am I in this? Where am I?
Right.
Where am I here? Where am I with the Good Shepherd? And it's I think that's sort of the key question when we're really doing Visio Divina and looking deeply into a picture to get its meaning, but also to see how do we relate to that story, to that image. How does that what how is this leading me to wisdom, greater self-understanding, greater understanding of um, anyone that we're uh, in relationship or not in relationship to, and how does this relate to my understanding of the divinity? Lots going on. Lots going
Lots, yeah, lots going on. And John, for me, when I look at that picture, I know that I have grown. For in my early years, I was very much the older son,
on.
very much not understanding why the father was welcoming. Um, and I've been the son, the son or daughter coming back asking for forgiveness, and I hope I'm moving more towards the compassion of the father.
Mm.
But I mean, it's that movement I think we see in all, especially in that particular story. But I think we can see them in all. See that movement of we're not just one person or one thing in that in an image. We're all up. We're everything.
Yeah, that's a great insight. So we can stay with that one, and as we move on, and I once again would like to thank everyone who's stayed with us uh, and looked at these videos. I'm hoping that you will like them, share them, comment on them. That would be amazing for us. We would love for this to be uh, a broader conversation than between two friends here. You can find us on our website, Listening for Clues, and communicate with us that way. In a moment, Lauren's going to read from a writing of Rainer Maria Rilke, and then we will have a moment of closing with a little music and reflection time with an icon, Holy Wisdom.
Have patience with everything resolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves, as if they were locked rooms or books written in a very foreign language. Don't search for the answers, which could not be given to you now because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps then, someday, far into the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer.